सोच में सकारात्मकता लाएं, जीवन को बेहतर बनाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। मनोदर्पण के काउंसलर से परामर्श पाने के लिए डायल करें टोल फ्री नंबर 844-844-0632। नंबर एक बार फिर सुने 844-844-0632।
Good evening, Namaskar viewers. I, Kriti Vadera, would like to welcome all the teachers, learners, educators and students to CIT NCERT special live phone program, and this is Sahyog session, an initiative under MANODARPAN under Atmanirbhar Bharat to give psychosocial support to all the youngsters and adolescents of the nation. And today we have come up with a very relevant topic for all of you. We will be discussing about addressing adjustment issues amongst adolescents. And to discuss on the same, we have two guests with us. I would like to introduce from RI Bhubaneswar joining us, Professor B.N. Panda. I welcome you, Professor Panda, for today's Sahyog discussion.
Namaskar. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
And we are joined by practicing counsellor Mr. Aruna Kumar Joshi as well. We welcome you, Mr. Joshi, for today's Sahyog. And before we begin with today's discussion, viewers, certain information for you all to know that if you have any questions or any suggestions, then please do let us know. You can dial on a number to tell us. Number would be 8800440559. You're watching the live streaming of this particular program on NCERT's official YouTube channel, and there also in the live chat box you may send all your suggestions and questions to us. One more medium to contact us would be the email address flashing on your screens right away. And here I feel really proud to announce that India assumed G20 presidency and is convening G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the nation in 2023. A country deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism, India's G20 presidency is going to be a watershed moment in its history, as it's going to mark some very important role in finding pragmatic global solutions. And by doing so, we are truly manifesting the true spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, or the world as one family. So on this note, we shall begin with today's Sahyog session. I welcome both the guests again and bringing you into the discussion, Professor Panda, first. So here we are talking about the mental health among adolescents and youngsters. I would like you to throw some light on this itself, that what should we understand with the mental health actually, and what are the basic characteristics to figure out that the person is mentally healthy.
Thank you very much, madam, because health is our wealth. Whether it is physical or mental or social or emotional, all health. Today all of us, we are sitting in a very positive mental health. So with the intention that absence of mental disorders. When we are in the absence of mental disorders, we can say that that is the mental health, positive mental health. Because how people think, feel and behave in a particular situation, how a person is addressing in a particular situation perfectly and in a balanced manner, then only we can say that the person is having the positive mental health, a good mental health. Mental health is nothing but a normal state of well-being and full and harmonious functioning of the personality. How a person is behaving in a different situation normally, how a person is having a balanced feeling, balanced desire and ambition, and in each her way of life, which are really acceptable in the society. If something is to be accepted, there is a norms, there is a rules, there is a regulation. Everybody has to follow in that direction. So if a mentally healthy person has to follow all the rules, regulation, principles in a positive manner, he will not deviate, he will not create problems. That is why in adolescence period, it is a very critical and very, very difficult period on the part of the human life. And because pre-adolescence, middle adolescence, late adolescence, all these periods, the learners has to develop physical, mental, social, emotional, cultural, psychic, vital, motor development simultaneously. So, but if the person is not well, mentally healthy, So every work will be affected. That is why we can say that it is the ability to take decision and adjust satisfactorily in one's life. Because a person has to take a decision, a right moment, right time, right situation to improve his or her own life in a positive manner. That is why mental health possesses adequate self-reflection and self-reliance and free from inner conflict. Because sometimes we grumbled ourselves. Adolescents, youth, they always, that means under the influence of peers. They always avoid the parent. They always try to be part and parcels of the, that means peer group. So that is why they sometimes possibilities of involvement in bad actions and activities. So looking into that, we have to have a very, very positive, that means adequate balance, and inner conflict must be, that means changed on the part of the adolescent youth. That is why the persons who are mentally healthy, they does not blame others. Tension tolerance. Even if there is a tension, the tolerance will be there. Even they know that I can know my own limitation. As if I don't want to understand my own limitation, I am not a healthy person. That is why well-adjusted person is a mentally healthy person. And emotionally we can say that control and face the actual realities of life rationally. Because any individual who is good, who is mentally sound, who is physically fit, at least definitely he is a rational person or she is a rational person, and his or her actions is always objectivity in nature. That is why always a mentally healthy person adapting to the changing circumstances. Whatever situation will come makes no difference. If good is good, bad is also good for the mentally healthy person. He can adjust or she can adjust all the situations of the life. She can, or the persons can evaluate. But that is missing with in a present adolescent youth. So they cannot able to evaluate themselves. They must be able to ask themselves. That means accept the joy, accept the sorrow in the same manner. If there is a happiness, whatever mental happiness will be there. Even there is a sorrow, same happiness should be there. One should not feel awkward. That is why well-adjusted person is a mentally healthy person and have a very balanced philosophy of life. If the philosophy of life is good, because I have to become a very rational in nature, so that if I am mentally healthy, my actions, approach, activities, feelings and behavior always will be positive nature. So these are all the characteristics of a mentally healthy person. So adolescents youth should have these particular characteristics. But situation, sometimes when they come to the school, that particular stage, they face lot of difficulties and involve different situations. So some of the adolescent youth, they may not be always mentally healthy because of circumstances and situation. But whatever it may be, we have to promote good characteristics, and we have to see that they always adopt all situations of life to maintain harmonious relationship and development in the society. These are all few hints related to your questions, madam. Thank you very much for giving these questions.
So that was about the mental well-being amongst the students and youngsters, and now bringing you into the discussion, Mr. Joshi. I would like to request you to throw some light on what is basically this adjustment means for our youngsters, and what would be the causes and symptoms of adjustments in disorders in adolescents. If you could just throw some light and brief on this.
Thank you very much, madam, for giving me this opportunity. So far as the question is concerned, what is adjustment? And what are the causes and symptoms of adjustment disorders? Man is a social animal, as you all know, and from adjustment. What is adjustment? We adjust ourselves to the changing circumstances, to the changing situation, to the changing conditions in our environment, inside our personality. So many changes take place every day. Man is the only animal who can survive these changes. When the winter season sets in, so many insects perish because they can't survive, they can't tolerate, they can't adjust to the changing circumstances. Man has physical, or you can call biological, psychological, social, mental needs and desires. If one of the needs is not gratified, not fulfilled, the individual becomes discontented and it results in frustration. And when frustration takes place or when it produces frustration, individual becomes maladjusted. What we call maladjustment. There is a degree of difference between an adjusted person and a maladjusted person. A person who is incapable of adjusting himself or herself to the changing circumstances becomes maladjusted. There are conflicts in our needs and desires. So many needs arise together. Human worlds are unlimited. They are complementary to each other. So when our needs rise, first we take decision of which needs to be fulfilled first. There is a conflict between the needs. And if we are indecisive, if we can take a firm decision which needs to be fulfilled first, which needs to be given primary importance, then we become a failure. And we call that person is unable to adjust himself or herself in the society. Our environment, our society, our inner self pressurize us, gives us so many pressures to fulfill this need, that needs. Nowadays, in the present day scenario, in this age of science and technology or in this age of computer technology, the modern day adolescents are unable to adjust themselves to their personal life, in their personal life, in their social life, in their school life. If we take an example of a child, take for example, that child has to follow certain norms and regulations. The parents say, do this, don't do that. And when the child is advised not to do a particular thing, but he wants to do it and fails, the parents become dissatisfied, the child becomes dissatisfied, it results in anxiety, tension, mental disorders, illness, insomnia, and different type of elements and diseases are caused in the human body. As a result of which, that individual gets frustration, depression, and origin anxiety. So, what to do in this situation? How can we find out the symptoms of a well-adjusted person, and what are the disorders of maladjustment? When an individual cannot cope up with the situation, he becomes maladjusted. It may affect him physically, psychologically, mentally. He may undergo stress and strain. But if that individual is able to bear that strain and stress, even during that time of adversity, he can cope up with the situation, he can maintain a well-balanced life, and when that life is well-balanced, he can adjust himself to the society. The word adjustment is very complex. It is a phenomenon. It is a very complex phenomenon. It is both an achievement and a process. It is an achievement in the sense that when we are able to cope up with the circumstances, the changing scenario, it becomes an achievement. We get success in our endeavors, in our venture, whatever tasks we undertake, we succeed in that. In that sense, we can call it achievement. And it is an ongoing process. One should not be stagnant like the water of a pond. One should be like a brook, the water or a river. Man may come and man may go, but I go on forever, I go on forever. Nowadays, our society is replete with so many antisocial activities. Crime, criminal activities are very rampant in the society. So, the modern day adolescents, my message, my advice to the modern day adolescents is that they should stay away from bad company, they should stay away from bad habits, they should cultivate moral values. Education does not mean achieving degrees, diplomas and certificates. Education is not for a profession, education is for life. If we can modify our behavior, if we can build good character, if we can well maintain a balance between our physical and mental well-being, then we can be called a well-adjusted person and we can be a grand success in the society. That's why, besides getting education, studying books, magazines, whatever we have, we should maintain a good rapport with the society, we should be sociable, we should be sympathetic, empathetic, passionate, enthusiastic, and motivated by ourselves. That's
Right.
all. Thank you, ma'am.
Right, absolutely. And here, bringing you to the discussion, Professor Panda, you have elaborated thoroughly about the mental well-being of the adolescents. So here, I would like you to brief upon the abnormal health what our adolescents face. What could be the factors responsible for such abnormal health, and how they can restore their regular mental well-being. If you could just throw some light on this.
Okay. Thank you very much. Because generally, what happened when we are saying the abnormal mental health, that is some factors are really causing that learners or individual or the adolescents, they face some difficulties. So because of certain situation, so abnormal mental health may be due to different factors or different causes. Suppose say for a home, our personal home. In the home, we are having family, we are having relatives, we are having youngers, we are having olders, we are having different type of tradition, we are having different type of customs, rules, regulation, food habits, and different type of things. So if there is a restriction, lot of restriction will be there. Authoritarian parents will say, no, you can't do anything. My dear son or my dear daughter, you are adolescence period, don't go, don't venture this type of activities. So this may, because we have to treat them with love and affection. But unfortunately, we play a very authoritarian role. We consider the adolescents youth in the home not as a friend, but as a young children, they don't have nothing. That is the unfortunate part. That is why abnormally different type of situation may take place, because they revolt against that. So the home condition is one of the important condition which create lot of confusion in the part of the adolescent youth. That is why you might have seen, madam, that they left the home. Many of the that means adolescent youth, they go away. They live with the peers. They respect the ideas of the peers. They sometimes avoid parents, mother and father advices. So because home is one of the condition, we must treat them. That is why we must. Then abnormal mental health also due to school situation. Because adolescence means they class 6 to class 12. This is the period. 11 and 12 it starts. Sometimes 20, sometimes 21, in some places 22, very cold countries 23. So this is the period, 10 years, 11 to 23, 10, 11 years of age. So or 12 years of age, 4 years, 4 years, pre-adolescent, middle adolescent, late adolescent. So this home condition, school condition, school also teacher play a very different type of role sometimes. They misbehave sometimes, they beat the students that particular moment. That time, that is why the school curriculum, school practices, school examination pattern, and school interaction, school pedagogy, school culture, school facilities sometimes also create a lot of confusion. What we expect, we are unable to give that. That is why school is also responsible sometimes the abnormal mental health condition of the learners. And society, because lot of corruption and undesirable activities are going on in the society. Every day, television or newspaper, some raid is going on. 500 crores rupees cash is that means found out with different personalities. Where they have got it? Corruption. So that is why in the society we don't maintain, that means a lot of injustice. We treat some of them in a better manner and some others in a haphazard manner. Injustice, corruption, or we create conflict among the individuals. So that is why either school or home or society all are responsible for, that means causing the abnormal mental health. But we can restore, because every individual has its own abilities and rules and regulation. And every individual in the society, anybody has born in this particular society, definitely has something. We cannot say that 30 to 40 children they are sitting and some are good and some are bad. Everybody is having intellectual pursuits. So we have to respect each individual in the educational institution. And also home also. Similarly, sometimes we also provide moral education. We invite someone to talk to the morality, how to maintain good, that means life in the society. Some moral education also we provide, because for the changing the abnormal mental health to become a good person in the society. And sometimes also environment is also congenial, a harmonious environment is also essential. A very, very congenial environment we have to provide. If there is always conflict in the educational institution, teacher versus teacher, teacher versus students, student versus students, teachers versus that means employees, or teachers versus or total institution versus that means society. So that congenial environment also to be promoted. It must be restored in the educational institution. Good environment, good education. Bad environment, there is a possibility of going in the wrong direction. That is why understanding the potentialities of the learner, and we must set the goals. What is our goal in the educational institution? What do you want to have? We want all the learners to become a good citizen, or we want all the learners to become a very skilled persons. So what goal we have set for our own institution? So that is to be taken care of. And we have to see that every adolescent youth have to be dealt with in a friendly manner, love and affection. We have to give love, and every teacher should give love and affection. Parents also should provide love and affection to their son and daughter. So if we can able to provide love and affection and develop a motivation and vibration or positive thinking among the adolescent, definitely the abnormal mental health situation can be changed, and we can restore them to become a successful human beings in the society. So these are all few hints. There are n number of that means say restoration policies are there. But anyhow, so we have to see that our adolescent youth dealt with all love and affection with all respect, and proper curriculum, proper ideas, proper maintenance, proper that means education. All the things have to be taken care of to reduce abnormality, to making them to become a successful person. So these are all few hints, madam. Thank you very much for asking this that means question.
And Mr. Joshi, you have very well elaborated about the adjustments the adolescents do. So what will be the characteristics of a well-adjusted person, if I ask you? If you please elaborate on this a little.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So, as you know, school, community, or our society play a very crucial role in shaping the personality of an individual. The school is a part of our community. If we take this in the context of the modern day adolescents, maladjustment has become a very common issue. It has become a very common problem in our practical day-to-day life. In my opinion, the main cause behind this is the bad effect of different social media. Nowadays, our adolescents, they misuse different media like internet, mobile phone. There are so many factors, distracting factors, which make them go astray from the real path. Education must provide them self-motivation and right direction. Over-adjustment, ma'am is talking about over-adjustment person. So, human growth and development is a process. If we study the longitudinal growth of an individual, then only we can understand at which aspect, at which point of growth and development the child, the adolescent requires proper guidance, proper motivation, and proper help. Nowadays, if you see, most of the adolescents, they are having sleeplessness, they are having different type of elements, physical elements like vomiting, nausea, giddiness, they are growing obese, and they have different type of mental disorders like obsession, depression, anxiety, overreach. So what the school, what the community can contribute in this regard? Parents, teachers, community workers, what you call the allied mass, they have a very crucial role to play in this regard. We must be sympathetic and empathetic by nature. Instead of scolding our adolescents, instead of giving them any type of punishment, we should be positive. It is rightly said that an optimist takes every calamity as an opportunity, but a pessimist takes every opportunity as a calamity. We should be always positive minded. We should always look at the bright side of things. This is not the fault of human beings. This is the fault of the age. It is a very crucial period. Adolescence is a very challenging period in one's life. There are so many chances of going astray or going out of track. We should be always positive minded. We should guide our adolescent youth, boys and girls. We should try to understand them. We should be friendly with them. We should show them our love and affection, but not excess love and affection. There should be within a controlled situation. The most important thing is that we have to understand them first. We have to find the root cause of the problem. Sometimes they are getting very defiant, very argumentative. They disobey the laws of the society and the school. So how can we bring them to the mainstream of the society and they can be a well-adjusted persons in their life? That is the topic. That is the burning issue nowadays. If you see the present day scenario, there are so many distracting factors. Students, particularly adolescent boys and girls, they take different issues regarding our gender, sex. That is the main problem they usually face in most of the schools and universities and colleges. This is a very complaining issue among the parents and the teachers. They try making friendship with the boys and girls of opposite sex. They start gossiping. They lose their attention. They lose their concentration in studies. They become overactive, hyperactive. Sometimes they sleep very late at night. They waste a lot of time. So time management, proper guidance are very much essential for the modern day youths. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so now when we have understood in detail about the adjustment and the characteristics and the factors responsible for these adjustments, and in the last, I would just ask you, Professor Pandas, to throw some light on the role of parents, that how can parents be helpful for these adolescents in adapting a balanced life? If you could just brief.
Yes, madam, it is a very interesting and role of parents and role of teachers in the educational institution molding the adolescents to become a good maintain and to lead a good life in future. The parents' role, that means at home, except 6 to 7 hours, the adolescents should come to the educational institution. Rest of the timings, if they are coming from home, that means we can say that 16 hours they live there. Most of the students, they live, most of the adolescents youth, they return back. Those who are day to day coming to the educational institution, going back. 16 hours they are staying. So that is why role of the parents is very important to mold them. Because molding the adolescent youth is the prime and very, very important role the parents have to, both parents, mother and father, they have to play. Even whole family setup. If in our own home, if we are having, that means good culture, good values, action, and each other, and accepting the views of, even if my son or daughter, they are adolescent stage, we have to accept their views. We cannot criticize, no, you don't know nothing, you don't have any ideas. All the views of everyone is to be taken into consideration at home. So the role of the parents is very important. And every parents must respect and provide love and affection to their own son up to the greater extent. If I will accept, if I will give a very, that means positive vibration in my own home, possibilities are there, the adolescent you go in the right direction. So that is why treat the adolescent youth equally. Son should not be given much more emphasis as compared to girls, daughter. So both are equal. Son or daughter or boys and girls makes no difference. So parents must treat them equally. That is one of the most important, significant. During that stage, everybody has a sentiment. So we don't want to disturb the sentiment of son in lieu of daughter or vice versa. That is why provide opportunity to participate in different type of activities. Somebody, that does not mean that female will be going for cooking purpose.
Right.
Not necessarily. That is why engage almost all, you have to set the good examples in our home. Then only we can say that adolescents will become the leading a very good and happy life in future times. So respecting each other, providing equal opportunity, bringing some creative things to the
Exactly.
educational age at home.
We
all these
have
things
to
are
break
many
these
things.
stereotypes in the society, then only eventually all adolescents would be leading the nation. And with this, we come to the end of today's Sahyog session. I really thank you, Professor Panda, for joining us today, for giving
very
your
much.
views on this.
Thank you very much.
And I thank you also, Mr. Joshi, for joining us today for today's Sahyog.
Thank you, ma'am.
So this was Sahyog session, viewers, and here I would like to remind you that the academic session of NCERT has already begun, and if you have not got the books, then you can simply purchase them from the publication division situated at New Delhi, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Kolkata and Guwahati. And the timings for these publication divisions would be from 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. They are open on all gazetted holidays and on Saturday, Sundays as well for you. And if you want to place the online order for these books, simply log into NCERT's official website and place an order. You'll be getting all the textbooks right at your doorstep without any delivery charge. And to read the PDF version of the textbooks, you can simply download the mobile applications of Diksha, ePathshala and NCERT. And on the official website of NCERT also, the PDF versions of all textbooks are available. So this was Sahyog, but remain connected to PM eVidya to watch NCERT's resource material. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, ma'am.
सोच में सकारात्मकता लाएं, जीवन को बेहतर बनाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। मनोदर्पण के काउंसलर से परामर्श पाने के लिए डायल करें टोल फ्री नंबर 844-844-0632। नंबर एक बार फिर सुने 844-844-0632।